Hey folks, this is Brian, back with my Prince of the Apocalypse campaign. We finally were able to get everybody together again. Oh, not everybody. One of our players moved north, so it's a travel for him now, so it makes it even more complicated because he works a lot of weekends as well, so he wasn't able to make it. And then one of my players, my son, took him out to school in Idaho last weekend, 2 weekends ago. So I kind of contemplated having him Skype in. Not sure how that's going to work, but I'll try and touch base with him again about doing that. I was not able to pull that together for this game yesterday. It was a really short game. One of my players, his wife wasn't feeling well, so we had to leave early. So I got there late. We had a couple of, so less than 2.5 hours, which actually isn't too bad. A 2-hour game is doable. I know most folks and even I try to do, upwards of 4. We try 7 or 8 to 12, so that's like 4 hours. Our normal game, what we try to do. But anyway, so my prep for this session, because I had reviewed some of the Riveguard Keep. That's what they are. They're in Riveguard Keep stuff. And then I go, they take all these guys out here in the keep. They'll find that secret door, and they'll go down, and they'll head right over to the temple. So I better check out the temple, see what's down there, kind of thing. And I go and look at my temple sheet because I put all my encounters on spreadsheets because I randomize all their stats. So every bandit is different. And then I just print those off for the session. And when I went to look at my spreadsheet for that, the temple was completely blank. So yesterday morning and afternoon, I spent all day copy and paste, cleaning up and check and double check and that kind of thing. So that allowed me, as I was putting all that stuff in, to review the whole temple scenario, which I really thought they were going to get to. They didn't. And there's a couple of things in there that bothered me that I want to mention about for my review part. And as doing that, I knew that the water temple was all the rooms were C1 whatever, C1, C12, C25 whatever, right? I'm looking for C, and I know it's not in the front because it's the air temple first, right? As I'm flipping through, I find the earth temple, which is B. So I think the next one will be the water temple, right? C. It wasn't. It was the fire temple, which is actually E. So I start flipping around, and I finally find C, but it's right after A. So it goes A, C. There should be in there somewhere. Must be A, C, B, then E. So there's no D. I didn't bother looking for it this morning. So I'm assuming there's a D in there somewhere, perhaps. But back to the water temple. The first thing caught my attention were these. Well, the first thing caught my attention was which way is the water flowing and how fast. Because you move from the keep to the temple, which it says is a 2-mile distance on a stream or a creek, more like a canal, I guess. 2 mile in a rowboat. So it can't be. I'm trying to figure out because the river outside is flowing this direction, and the water inside the keep from the temple to the keep to the little docking area where the boats are. So is the water coming into the river, or is the river swirling around and going up? That really is not conducive as far as I know. But if the temple is further down, then maybe the water's flowing down that direction. I didn't know. So as I followed the water currents around and what's going on, I came across this thing with the culverts, and I'll talk about it in a second. Anyway, the first encounter you can come to that I had issues with is the ghouls. There are these, I guess, I don't think I'm aquatic ghouls, but ghouls they were drowned, that kind of thing, right? So there's this room, there's these 8 pools of water, more like submerged barrels of water, where these ghouls have been drowned. That's how they became ghouls, right? They were killed that way. That's how they became undead. But it states there are 9 ghouls. 8 are in pools, 4 are hiding in the corner. Now there are only 8 pools, so maybe they are full. No, so are there 12, or is there only one hiding in the corner? I don't know. And there's the thing about how if a ghoul paralyzes you, they'll tie you to these rocks and throw you in the pool so you can drown and become a ghoul like them. And if they're all out of the pools, that'd make them all available. So yeah, I had an issue with there's only 8 pools, there's 8 ghouls in them. Doesn't matter. Back to the water flow in the culverts. Now it does say in the canals that the water is flowing, it has a weak current, is what it says, a weak current. And I had to follow all the water all the way back to, there's an actual spring that comes up that pours the water out. Okay, so that's telling me the water's coming from here going to the river. Okay, no problem. Except that you've got a 2-mile boat ride upstream. Anyway, but it says a weak current. Okay, it's kind of stagnant. It's just flowing a little bit. Yeah, everybody can roll with that. No problems. But you get to a part in the water where you got the water coming out. And it's coming through some culverts into the canals. And on the other side of the culvert, there's this part of, there's like a moat. And it's really deep at one end, and it's only like 4 feet deep on the side ones, but it comes up to only 2 feet deep at the culverts. So you can wade across. It's not a problem. It talks about it. You can wade across only 2 feet deep here. From the other side, it says you can climb up the wet rock walls and into the culvert, and the water's only a foot deep where it spills over the edge. To me, a culvert is like, a tube. So if the water's a foot deep inside this tube, so you can still crawl through it, wade through it, whatever, that's a foot of water spilling out of that causeway or the culvert. How many gallons per second is a foot deep set of water? Even if the culvert's only like 3 feet wide. That is a ton of water and it's moving fast. Now, maybe when it hits the canals and stuff, you got a lot of, displacement and stuff. So maybe that weak current is not so weak, but that's just, maybe it's just semantics. Okay. There is a web series online. I forgot what it was. I've talked about it. I've got a couple of save files, favorites on their stuff. Their first season was all about new players and how different people play and stuff like that. And this season is about problem players, and it has gotten a little difficult, I guess, for me. Just because maybe I'm a sensitive guy, I don't know, but there's certain language I allow in my games. I really like a PG-13 maybe, but the way the dwarf guy talks just makes me cringe, especially when there are ladies in the game as well. Really, dude, cut it off. And I think that's what they're trying to portray, these problem players do when things happen. Well, anyway, the whole season 2 starts out with a guy showing up late because the bus isn't there. He takes an Uber and gets there late and all that kind of stuff. And he's apologizing to all new players, And I felt that way because like I'm driving up. I said, okay, 7 o'clock at Russell's. We're going to use this game table. He's got this fancy game table. And I didn't leave until almost 7. And it's only like 5 minutes there. So I get there and there's at least one other car. So I know one other player is there. And I was driving past one of my players. I'm like, hey, shoot, I should have been able to call so we need a ride. Anyway, I get there. Their son lets me in. I go down the stairs and everybody's there. So I'm the last one there and they're all set up talking and playing. I felt just like that guy at that first episode where he shows up late. All the players are there. All right, guys. So I start setting up really fast. But the scenario, and I probably should have watched my video from last time. The scenario ended with Lady Jovashai casting hypnotic trance on the leader Grimjaw and his folks. And my gut feeling was I knew Grimjaw had missed. I knew the 2 guards had missed their saving throws, but I wasn't sure about the Fathomer. I kind of thought maybe the Fathomer had made his saving throw or her saving throw rather, but I couldn't recall, and the player seemed to recall all 4 of them, so we still have 4 of them. But I had prepped in my mind. Okay, here's these 4 guards. Let's bring these people in. Boss starts asking him questions. Starts asking other guy questions. Someone's doing. They're a somatic and material. I don't worry about the material components here because they're, magic wand. But somatic components to the spell. So she's doing something to cast the spell, and it's not like she's doing, this, brushing her hair. She's doing something with her hands. Oh, so in my head, I'm thinking the guards know these guys have cast a spell. Now, I gave Lady Joe a shot at benefit of doubt, trying to do something down here. But I remember making some kind of perception roll, and so one of the guards knows something up. Okay, here's the boss. They're talking, ask questions, and all of a sudden he freezes. Hey, boss, you okay? And I had him move up there to check what's going on. When in fact, what I should have done is had him turn and say, "Kill her." There's an elf there with a longbow. There's an elf with like a staff. He's a druid. Maybe it could have been him. But here's this lady who's just wearing fancy clothes. Obviously a spellcaster, that kind of thing. It should just train crossbows on her and shot her. But it might be that confrontational, so I didn't. But the crossbowmen at that part start getting engaged. Elite Joshai does flaming hands. It burns 2 guards, the crossbowman and the leader. Everybody but the leader dies. The longbowman pulls his bow out, starts shooting people, including the counselor in the back. She's actually a fathomer, that's what they're called. A spellcaster of sorts. And the druid casts Moonbeam. Now Grimjaw, the leader, he's a werebore, so he has disadvantage on these saving throws against his Moonbeam thing, and I didn't want to give that away, but I knew they did something to shape changers, and the player brought that out. Good on him. He brought that out, all the options of what could be going on. But he took all the damage and still survived. Since the Fathomer got shot, she can now act. So she casts Invisibility on herself, and she takes off. Grimjaw, for his action, bolted to a secret door, starts running down the stairs. This little party's overwhelmed, his core group already. Well, they're tough because they're just bandits and stuff. But they're obviously tough hombres. So he's going to go get extra help because he knows that there's one other Fathomer out there, and everybody else is Reavers and bandits. You just walk through bandits, and Reavers aren't that tough either. That's one of the issues I have with Princes in general, is the fact that everything seems to be a walkthrough. All the random encounters, except, well, I handled the vampires badly, and the whites maybe could have been a little tougher, but in general, all the encounters just walkthroughs. Now they are, 5th level now, so maybe the random encounter should be. I don't know. Urshnora is the Fathomer. She's invisible. She runs out the double doors, starts shouting an alarm. Lady of Shy decides to investigate these 2 doors behind the table. She goes into one. It's a bunch of servants. They all freak out. She casts darkness on Aloysius. Aloysius goes in the room, complete darkness. And she comes out. The druid goes to the other side and opens up. It's a kitchen. There are 3 servants in there with kitchen knives and stuff, and there's 3 other servants that are just like moving stuff around. And the assassin goes through the secret door and gets on the stairs. The druid catches up with the assassin. They go down together, looking for Grimjaw. Well, by this time, Grimjaw has gone down, got into a boat, and is heading upstream to get reinforcements. They get down there. They just see the one boat. There's 4 points to tie boats up to. They cut loose the other boat, so the boat's floating downstream. There's a gate down there, so I get caught, that kind of thing. And then they start heading back up. Three kitchen crew. There's three guys that are commoners, but they are there voluntarily. They want to become cultists. The other two there are the two family members, the kids, whatever, that are missing from that homestead that they came to investigate to find. The three kitchen cooks with the knives, they come to the door trying to, defense stance what's going on. They're going to defend themselves, that kind of thing. Lady Joe Shy at that point says, "What are your demands?" Um, this guy's kind of, what do you mean? What's going on? Trying to be interactive with the PCs, but in a humorous way. And unfortunately, I do not play a cinematic game. I don't. I tried to run a believable game, and I was going to catch this later, but here we go. One of the issues I got with 5e, and I've stumbled across this recently, is that 5e is actually a supers game. Now maybe it's taken me 2 years to figure that out, or maybe I knew it before. I just never said it out loud. 5e is a supers game, and I've only tried to play a supers game once, and all we did was roll characters. And I forgot, it was in high school. I forgot what system it was, but I remember that everybody received their stats based upon their actual person and what everybody else thought their stats were. So if everybody thought, hey, you're average in strength, you're 11. You're pretty smart. We'll give you a 13 intelligence or a 15 intelligence. And I remember, and this really impressed me. One of the players, real smart guy. He went to University of Idaho. He was a year older than I was, but he was taking 21 credits a semester. He was in nuclear physics and all this kind of stuff. Really, really smart guy. He was our game master a lot of times, almost all the time up there. But I remember him saying that I had a 17 charisma because he would follow me anywhere. He believed I would take them the right way. That really impressed me. I was touched. Anyway. Okay, so we have all this combat going, flaming hands, people screaming and dying, crossbows being fired, all kinds of stuff going on, right? Oh, and the crossbowmen down here, they shoot the assassin a few times. Some of them completely miss a lot. I was rolling badly that night, but they end up, shooting them, Eldritch Blast, that kind of stuff, right? And Lady Jovshai ends up Eldritch Blasting the three cook guys. They all die. And right, I need to look up Eldritch Blast because she's at the level where she's getting 2 beams. But shouldn't that be 2 rolls? Or is just 1? I'll have to look that up. He said 2, so I let it go. Or he said 1 roll for both beams. And one of those was a critical. These guys got like less than 10 hit points. They're burning them up. Okay, so there are some guards in the keep. I give them a couple rounds. They come out. The stench of burning flesh is in the air. There's a couple people down that they don't recognize. They come running down. Lady Jovshai moves up, flaming hands, burns off but one of them, and then backs to the doors, going to check outside. The survivor runs back up the stairs, and he's going out to the catwalk, the tower wall, to get guards and that kind of thing. Okay, while this is going on inside, you've got the Fathomer who ran out earlier, the invisible girl, and woman, and she is shouting alarm, alarm, intruders, right? And there's actually a little section in the beginning of this part where it says if alarm is raised, these things are going to happen. There is a barracks out there, and it takes, it says that, okay, there are 12 bandits and 4 reavers in this barracks. And it says that the bandits will run out and reinforce the walls, adding 2 to each wall. 4 walls, 2 each, that's 8. Where are the other 4? Or maybe they're only 8. I had 12, so 8 came out, and then there were 4 others in there. And then it says it takes 1 minute for the reavers to reach the warning place, right? That's 10 melee rounds. I've never had combat last 10 melee rounds. Never. Now this whole encounter, I've been trying to run melee rounds, and I've got this. I got a 10-side die out that I'm ticking down every round, right? So when these reavers actually show up to where the Fathomer is. Oh, what a mess! What a mess. Okay, so anyway, the half orc and the paladin are outside. They hear this warning cry going on, so they decide to act. They're looking around. Does anybody see anything? What's going on? The half orc can see one other guard over on this wall, and the paladin can see one other guard over on this wall. The half orc is being run by the paladin at this point. He's asking about the roofs, and yeah, there's actually a picture in there, which is really nice. Wooden roofs, A-frame teep, and the half orc going to run across and then jump down. I didn't do it, but then I started thinking this morning: wooden roofs, leather shoes. These guys aren't running in tennis shoes; they're running in medieval leather slippers. No traction whatsoever, right? And on a steep roof. Now, I used to, as a kid, run around on our roof, and it got pretty steep on a couple spots. And, it gets you in the gut. It's hard to be moving around on angles like that. You get down on all fours kind of thing, usually. Or you move very slowly. I made him do an acrobatics check on his jump down. No, athletics or acrobatics check for his jump down, see if he took damage, and he didn't. He was fine. And then he starts to move around the building. Well, while this is going on, Pegasus flies over to where she hears the clacks or the reaver or the Fathomers yelling. Doesn't see anything, so flies back to this building. It's the barracks. Now they don't know it's a barracks. It just happens to be that's the barracks. So that's just the doors are going in, right? He lands, gets off, opens the door, sees 12 guys scrambling to the door, and 4 of the guys armoring up. Yells something. I think it was about intruders at the gate kind of thing, and then slams the door. Gets back on his mount and flies off. How long did that take? Have you ever gotten off of and onto a horse? It can take some time. And then opening and closing doors, that's like half movement kind of thing, like getting up, right? There you go. But the time scaling on all these activities got really skewed during this game. Gets on his place and he's going to fly to the top of the keep itself because it's flat. He gets up there, starts looking around. Now there's nothing in the book about there being trapdoors. And it's crenellated on top. So it's designed for people to be up there to watch and defend. So I put a trapdoor in the guard room. He comes down, sees the guard room. He goes across the hall, investigates the next room, and then goes to the room at the end of the hall, investigates. And he's searching, and he finds some stuff. This was like 1, 2, 3 melee rounds. 30 seconds, really. You searched 2 rooms, gathered up treasure, and went into and out of 3 rooms in 30 seconds. Again, time skewed really badly. But I just let it go. I tried to rein in where I could. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So all that happens, right? The half orc barbarian jumps down. He comes around the corner. At this point, the paladin has flown off, and the 12 guys are running to get to the walls. 2 went down the stairs. The other 6 have gone in the other direction. So he goes and investigates. He opens the door. There's still 4 more bandits in there, right? Plus the reavers get armoring up. And so he slams the door shut and goes to hide wall. So all this movement and just there's only so far you can move, right, in a melee round. So while the player had thought he'd gone all the way back around the corner, there's not enough distance to have gone that far with his movement and all the stuff he did. So I have the bandits come out. They look around. They see him because he's still on this side of the building on our side. And I let 2 of them get shots off, and the player for the half orc wanted to kick one of them off the edge because the edge of the cliff is really close right there. It's not right there. Talking about a hex or 2 distance. So we let him do the whole slam thing. The guy misses, falls, goes down. Cliff, takes 4 points of damage. And so the next round, the crossbowmen shoot off again. At this point, he rages, so he's not taking any damage. He goes and he's hacking up, but he throws a 1. He gets attacked twice around, but his first roll, he rolls a 1. Throws his weapon almost to the cliff. I had to make some kind of do a dex roll to see if it actually fell off the cliff or not, because it was close enough, but And it didn't. So next round, he gets the sword and he kills the other two guys. Okay. At this point, we gotten close to 9:30. That's when my player had to leave, and so I start, cleaning, gathering things up and everything, and start talking about, one way. Well, one of the players brought up that, hey, we could put the half orc in charge of this place, and that would take his character out of the situation, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And the half orc character has been looking for, raising armies. You want to take over the orc tribe, so that would be appealing to him. I can see that. So I'll talk to him about that. And in reality, all I gotta do is deal with that fathomer. If they come out saying either they killed Grimjaw or that he's fled, he's a coward, this half orc is brave, he'll take you where you need to go and give you direction, all that kind of stuff. Maybe now fathomer. I rolled for her, fanaticism, maybe is the word, and she rolled really high, so she is going to fight. So that's for the future kind of thing. Going back to the game though, we had all forgot about Aloysius with his darkness because Lee Joshai had sent him out front to block the entrance, and so happens there's the stairway up to the wall. And, he was able to, with a 15-foot darkness, he can block both of those, so people can't see them very well or at all, kind of thing. But that's where the Fathomer is. So I thought a couple times, the Fathomer has this magical darkness come out and suddenly engulf her. She's a magic user; she knows magical darkness, right? So she knows there's something flying around that did that. Something that can see through darkness because it's going places. So I could have had her attack it, at disadvantage, that kind of thing. But I didn't really want to mess with that too much. Probably should have though. Excuse me. And so something, because Aloysius probably should have been stinging her, that kind of thing too. So yeah, I'll talk to Grant. We may be retro playing that piece there. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that was my game. A little long this time. I didn't split it. I didn't think I had enough to do to split it up, but I probably should have. With the whole prep thing and issues with the system and the game and the book and stuff, and then everything else. But that was my game. I let go of time control a lot because I've got a couple players that are talkers, and they'll talk about all kinds of funny stuff. Which it's nice, but weird to play a game, right? Maybe my gaming style is a little different than my players. Should I find a different group? I don't know. I'm trying to get a RuneQuest role-playing Glorantha thing going. And one of the players is really interested in doing that, so he's like, let's just roll this up. Start playing RuneQuest instead. Which I wouldn't mind, but I kind of want to finish this thing. I hate the idea of just letting it die. But, I essentially lost 2 of my players. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, happy gaming.